So number 7 here is the concept of recognizing other as self. Understanding that, as I was saying earlier, the concept of a unified consciousness that has become fragmented into individuals. And so we are all part of this, unified divine being, manifesting and expressing and experiencing itself as these individuals, but we are all self. We are all a subjective individual having our subjective experience, and so this is the concept of namaste. The true meaning of the word namaste in India, which is both hello and goodbye, but it has a deeper meaning, which is precisely that of recognizing other as self, and that when you are relating with another, acknowledging another as another yourself, and that person is doing the same to you, then you become unified. Then you are acknowledging that inherent oneness of all beings, and operating then from a place of oneness instead of from a place of separateness and might makes right and the rat race and just seeking to achieve for yourself with little understanding of the fact that others want to be happy, etc. Also goes back to the golden rule of do unto others as you would have others do unto you, because we all want to be treated with respect and dignity and honored for our life and our being, regardless of our imperfections and mistakes and whatnot. We're all doing the best we can based on what we have to work with. Even the most heinous of acts are committed by someone who is part of the divine flow in one way or another. And that doesn't mean that you don't have discernment, that you don't acknowledge the effects of different actions and how they affect people and the energies that they create and all this, but to be coming from a place of seeking to have greater understanding and empathy and compassion. So number 8 is definitely an important one, which can be forgotten and lost sight of at times, and that is to never think you have it all figured out. No matter how much sense your perspective may make and how much confirmation you may be getting from the outside world, from the perspectives of others, it is a fairly regular and predictable aspect of being that we want to be right, we want to have it figured out, we want to know that we're on the right path. And this can result in blinders of sorts based on fear of not being on the right path and not wanting to consider that possibility that despite your best efforts, despite your best perceptions and efforts to figure things out, maybe you don't actually have it figured out. Who knows? Maybe you got it all wrong. Because certainly there are, lots of people who think that they have it figured out, think that they have the right way to go about things, and then they are starting wars and doing all kinds of terrible things that we see in the news, whatever. Jihad, various holy wars and honor killings. Just think of that, the concept of being shamed by someone having sex out of wedlock, and so according to your belief system, it makes sense to kill that person, and then you feel better, even though it was like your family member. And so, truth is ever elusive, and we can seek and strive to get as close to the truth as we possibly can, but just to keep in mind that chances are you don't have it 100%, probably don't have it 90 or 80%. Who knows how close you are to the truth, whatever that really means, but to seek not to fall into that trap of, okay, I got it done, I got it down, I got it figured out, and so I'm just gonna, ride this train to the end no matter what, because I have all the, all my I's dotted and T's crossed or whatever. The quest for truth is eternally changing and evolving, and we can always evolve our souls more and advance and add to our perceptions of reality and ourselves, because there's always more to learn. It's a very big, strange, mysterious universe, and I don't think we ever get to that point where we got it all figured out. So. On one hand, it is important to not allow your life and your desires and your direction, what you seek, to be determined and limited by the perceptions of others and people projecting onto you and their expectations and societal conforming and norms. To allow yourself to just break free from all that as much as you can. And yet, it is also important to consider the reflections you're getting back from others. You say something and somebody has a negative reaction to it. Maybe that's their trip, and maybe you were being a jerk, and their reaction was the more balanced perspective than your own in whatever you said, and so obviously this can expand out to things you do and life choices and how you carry yourself and just life in general. It's important to kind of find a balance point between just being yourself as much as you can and finding your own true path, and keeping in mind that we are all mirroring one another, and that is an important aspect of the whole adventure, is to keep in mind the feedback that you're getting back from others. And you're going to have your own perspectives, obviously, on other people as well, and so that's part of the deal too, is to, if you're going to honor your own perspective of others, then it is equally important to honor others' perspectives of you, because that's the same thing. So to keep in mind that this whole life experience is one being trying to make sense of itself, and we all have something to offer. We all have input in that regard, and so to keep that in mind, a collective effort to figure things out, whether it's yourself or the world around you, or spiritual truths or whatever, that it's good to have multiple perspectives rather than be stuck on one perspective, whether it is a spiritual teacher or yourself, and blocking out all of the opinions of others in favor of only honoring your own personal truth, because that is an imbalance in the other direction. This world, this universe, is an energetic phenomenon that is an expression of consciousness. We also are an energetic phenomenon that is an expression of consciousness. And so we are not an individual separate unit making our way through the world. We are simply immersed in this flow of energy that has manifested in many different forms, including the physical realm, and seemingly separate objects and people, and that we are all pinging off each other and affecting one another and energetically swirled together, and that behind all of this is a backdrop of a divine consciousness that wants us to succeed, that is rooting for us, that is seeking to guide us as much as we are open to input. And so to keep your eyes open for messages from the universe, synchronicities, your intuition, the feeling to go this way or that way, or to continue with the conversation with this person because you just get a feeling about them that this may lead somewhere. To listen to your own inner voice and the larger, greater, grander voice of the universe speaking to you in various ways. Whether it is a bird that flies past you and flies off in some direction, and you decide, well, maybe I'm supposed to go that way, or maybe not, who knows. But just to keep in mind that this world around us is interacting with us. It is not a static world. It is a ever-moving, evolving world that is sensitive and reactive to us, and that we can affect the world, and we can learn from the world around us, and that it is all a collective effort of seeking to guide us in the right direction. And if we are open to those signs, then we are more likely to see them and know what to make of them, and allow them then to guide our lives in some way. So those are my 10 things to think about on the spiritual quest, how to evolve one's soul, and come to a greater awareness of oneself and the purpose of life. All right, take care.